Now, as you'll know, if you've watched any of my other fishing videos, I do a lot of my fishing here. Particularly over lockdown, it's a lot easier to go fishing in your garden than it is anywhere else. So I've done a lot of fly fishing, a lot of coarse fishing here, and I haven't been able to do very much sea fishing here because there isn't any sea. But recently, on May the 17th, when we were allowed to go and stay with people, I was able to go and visit my mum in Edinburgh for the first time in a long time, far too long, and decided to go and fish the Water of Leith, which is the little river that runs through Edinburgh that I used to fish as a lad, and I caught my first fly caught trout there, which is a rainbow, stocked rainbow. They don't stock rainbows anymore, they stock brownies now. And I just thought I'd go and have a go, and I had a lovely time, and this is what happened. I'm in Edinburgh. This is the Water of Leith down here. I used to fish this when I was a kid. I caught my first ever fish on the fly here on a muddler minnow, fish static. I had no idea what I was doing. Oh, there goes my net. Sophia specifically warned me against doing anything foolish. Well, we all know that fishing is itself inherently foolish. Okay, so here I am in the Water of Leith. One of the first waters that I fished as a young lad, and the place I caught my first ever fish on the fly. I had no idea what I'm doing. Now I have very little idea what I'm doing, but slightly more than before. So what I'm going to do, just going to work my way a little bit further upstream and see if I can cast into that little pool, still patch right there. Okay, so I'm just going to have a little flick here. I've got a feeling that quite a lot of this is going to be almost too much for me, too difficult, because I'm not so good at confined spaces. Got to get firm footing and have a little flick. This is, I'm just a little bit intimidated as yet by the overhanging vegetation. I hope I'll get used to it and won't lose my shit, and flies everywhere, but we'll see. I am now in prime small trout territory. I think I might just leave it for a bit. I'm walking right in the deepest part. It is only ankle deep, deep ankle deep, sort of shin deep, but it is beautiful. Look at it. Snagged. That's my first possible indication. It does look lovely. I mean, it's deeper. There's a little deeper hole just here. You can imagine there'll be trout sitting in it, but really, I'm just not confident enough in my roll casting, puddle casting, and all the other little fancy techniques that I'd need to be able to land a fly safely in amongst all these gorgeous looking boulders. So when I was a lad, at the age of about, I don't know, when I sort of first remembered Water of Leith, it was a typical urban wasteland, really. It was shopping trolleys and litter. Then when I was, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, something like that, there was a big campaign to clean it up. There were volunteers picking up litter, taking shopping trolleys out, and the water quality improved. They stocked it with rainbows initially, and those are the first two trout I caught here were rainbows. in the Murrayfield stretch on a muddler minnow, which I just cast out and had left there, and it was presumably a little bit buoyant and floating around under the surface, and a rainbow just grabbed it. But they don't stock it with rainbows anymore. They stock it with little brownies. It's about 1,000 a year. Apparently there are some bigger fish in here. There's some wild fish, but that is fantastic. Fish, 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 fish. Excellent. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Amazing. Come on. Let's have you. And there we go. Well, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Look at that beautiful little fish. Let me just wet my hands so I can unhook him properly. Well, that is my first, I think that's actually my, no it isn't. It's my first Edinburgh brownie for a long time. Look at that beautiful little 2 or 3 4-ounce fish in the sunshine. Gorgeous. Back you go. Oh, fantastic. How fantastic is that? Maybe I'm a little bit too overexcited by it. Tiny fish. I mean, that could have been a stocky, that could have been a wildie. Difficult to tell. It was certainly a very beautiful fish, and one that I'm very happy to have caught. And I now feel like I belong. Let's see if there's another one in this pool. Oh, look at that. So what are you rising to? Come on, you've got to put a dry fly on. You've got to have a go with a dry fly. Oof. Well, he's rising for mayfly. That's what he's rising for. Okay, put on a... Come on, put on something big. That's a mayfly on the water, and he rose at it. So there we go, grey wolf. Let's see if I can tempt them, if they are feeding on mayfly or things like him. It's a nice big obvious fly, big bushy fly. Fingers crossed. From the look of things, he's definitely chasing mayfly. Come on, that's the right place. Ah, so frustrating. Am I being on my video?
There you go.
Stopped rising, so I'm just going to go back to the brown-bodied gold-ribbed hare's ear, which caught me a fish before, to see if it'll catch me another one. Oh yeah, come on, come here. Ah. You just missed it. You just missed. There we go. Brownie number 2. I'll show off to a bloke who doesn't even care. I don't blame him, but I do. Look at that, beautiful little brownie, and back you go. That's amazing. 2 fish in this one little pool. There can't be too many capital cities where, I don't know, you've had a day's trout fishing, 10 minutes away from the river, you're 5 minutes from home. It's quite pretty. It's got trout in the river. If only it were warmer. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Well, it was for me anyway. Although it did show me how much practice I really need to do on casting in tight areas. I'm really not very good at it. But if you want to do some of that, most of the fishing on the Water of Leith is free. All you've got to do is go online and book yourself a license, which lasts for a year. So I'll post the link to the form where you book it in the comments below.